Pew, pew, pew. First person shooter mode. I'm about to chug this fucking tea. I'm about to... What's up, my dudes? We're finally getting a first-person camera update to MX Simulator. This is going to completely change the way that people perceive MX Simulator, the way that people see this game. I think this is a major thing that is going to open up a lot of people's eyes, especially the MX Bikes boys' eyes, to what the physics are really like with MX Simulator. So anyways, how do I know that there's going to be a first-person update for MX Simulator? Obviously, the gameplay that I'm showing in this video is still the regular, old-school 2007 MX Simulator first-person camera, okay? The whole reason that I know that this is going to happen, Spency Boy hearing it through the grapevine out here, I had a guy on my MX Simulator team that was literally emailing JLV back and forth about this. And JLV did say that he is going to be working on a first-person camera update for the game. So, what it consists of, what it's going to actually end up being, I can't necessarily answer that per se, but it seems to me like the direction that it's going to go is more of the kind of camera options that you have with MX Bikes, but in MX Simulator, okay? Like a dynamic camera option, you know, all the different stuff that MX Bikes has when it comes to that, right? And if you want to get an example of what this might look like on MX Simulator for some of y'all bikes boys that still think that MX Bikes is the most realistic, oh my god, bro. What you need to go do is you need to go look at a YouTube channel called Official MXS GoPro Motorsports, okay? Basically all this channel does is it has MX Simulator gameplay, but it has been edited with keyframes and, you know, I don't even know what the hell they call it. Keyframes and key cams. Like, they're doing a lot of post-editing, and it's actually insane, bro. It will blow your mind at how this gameplay basically looks like MX Bikes cameras, but on MX Simulator. That's exactly what it is. So, like I say, I highly recommend some of y'all boys out there that you still think MX Bikes is some next level, you know, way more of a realistic simulator than MX Simulator. I highly recommend you go check out these videos. Like I say, the channel is called Official MXS GoPro Motorsports. He's got quite a few videos on there, but I mean, it's basically like a dynamic camera view for MX Simulator, which is not currently in the game, but he did that all in post-editing to somewhat show you what that would look like. And I'm telling you right now, y'all bikes boys ain't gonna be happy about that, because what it basically shows is all of that shit that y'all are thinking that's so much better about bikes. It's really not the physics, it's just the camera options. That's all it really is, man. And I think this is where a lot of y'all boys get tricked up. This is where a lot of y'all boys get confused. There is a major difference between physics of the bike and camera option, man. It's just two totally different animals to a moto game. But I mean, you can literally like see the bike whipping over, and you can see the side of the bike in first person. It's just got an entirely different look to it, man. This is what I feel like we're eventually going to get in MX Simulator once JLV finally puts the first person update into the game. Okay? So that's basically what we got coming down the hatch, you know what I mean? It's funny to me because, you know, I've seen a lot of people comment on some of my MX Simulator first-person gameplay videos, and it's instantly obvious that they are coming from MX Bikes, because before MX Bikes really started popping off, there was never anybody that would talk about the MX Simulator first-person camera being, like, outdated or old or not that good, or you can't really see what's going on, or, you know, whatever, right? That has only become a thing since MX Bikes has come out with a more advanced first-person camera. But before that, nobody ever said anything about that. You see what I'm saying? So, but I'm just saying, for some of you guys, and there's been a lot of guys that I know of that, you know, used to play a lot of sim, but they went over to bikes, and they have literally told me if MX Simulator just had more of a first-person camera, you know, like MX Bikes has, they would come back to MX Simulator. I've heard that from a lot of people. And I think this is a major aspect to this. This is a major element to this. It's, you know, if you're not really, really deep into these moto games, like for instance, when I play MX Bikes in first person, I can see the arcadey elements of it. I can feel the arcadey elements of it, even in first person. But that's just because I played the shit out of these different moto games. But I could see where a person would easily get tricked up by going from MX Simulator's first person to MX Bikes' first person and being like, oh my god, MX Bikes is so much more realistic because it looks more like that helmet cami, you know, you can kind of see the bike whipping in front of you a little bit more. It's not so locked to the bike. It's not so, you know, it's got all those different dynamic options and things. But I'm just telling you right now, MX Simulator would look like an entirely different game to some of y'all boys if it just had the camera options like not locked to the bike, dynamic camera options that MX Bikes has. I'm just telling you right now, a lot of you would have an entirely different opinion on the game. And like I say, if you don't believe me, just go look at the official MXS GoPro Motorsports channel on YouTube with the MX Simulator gameplay that looks like MX Bikes gameplay. Obviously, I didn't want to use that in this video because that's not my gameplay, okay? But that gives you a really good idea of what that could look like. And it could even look better than that. You know, that's all just done with post-editing software. I mean, if JLV really put the time in, he could make the first-person camera so good on MX Simulator that nobody would ever think that MX Bikes was a more realistic game than Sim. He literally could do that. I'm just telling you, man. I know a lot of y'all bikes boys don't want this to happen because it's going to really... What it would finally do is it would put MX Simulator on an even playing field with MX Bikes in the sense of when you're comparing first-person camera to first-person camera. You see, it would finally give you an actual accurate, you know, comparison between those two things. When you start comparing both of the games in third person, it is instantaneously obvious which one is got the more realistic inertia and weight to the bike and, you know, the heaviness to the bike and all that. It's obvious in third person, but because MX Simulator has a first-person camera from 2007 and you're trying to compare it to MX Bikes' modern GoPro-y style first-person camera, see, it doesn't give you an accurate comparison. It doesn't give you an accurate, you know, when you're trying to look at the actual physics of the game in first person. Just telling you right now, this is going to be an absolute game changer, bro. An absolute game changer. But JLV is working on this. He is trying to implement a more updated, modern first-person camera into MX Simulator. Pew, pew, pew.